Today we're going to cover a CO2 setup for an aquarium, the most effective or more affordable long run setup. So I'm going to just throw the number out there. It's going to sound like a lot to start. So 110, 120 bucks is what we're kind of looking at in stuff. And then we'll cover the savings towards the end of the video. So here we have the tank. This is part of a core program, so I spent $40 to get the tank, and then it's $30 every time I take it in for a refill. It lasts me 4 to 6 months. So if you did the math, it's a considerable savings over the course of 4 to 6 months. The seals are important to consider because some people say go to a Pepsi company and get a bottle, or go on eBay, pick up a bottle. And there are some companies out there that will bother to charge a nominal fee to inspect your bottle for you. And sure, it could save you a lot of money if you get a whole ton of capacity, because $30 could fill a 50 or 80 pound bottle versus my 30. That's just what I do here. So when we take the bottle out of the equation and we bring in, say, something like the Petco solution or PetSmart, you get those little 3 ounce and 5 ounce bottles. Okay, we're talking about 25 pound bottle, and then we're talking about a little 3 and 5 ounce canister for about 5 to 10 bucks. So that's a considerable difference in expense. So if I were to take 4 months here at what I pay, it cost me $7.05 a month to run this. Whereas that little 3 ounce, 5 ounce canister could basically deplete itself in a period of a week or two, if not a month, depending on my tank. Now here's my tank. Just recently cycled, fish finally got in. That's 135 gallons. That's a considerable amount of tank to put CO2 into. So the next step is the brewing regulator that I picked up. Is 40 bucks from Ace Hardware. What I did is I pulled it all apart and I redid all of the threadings with gas tape, which is like about 4 or 5 bucks. I have it for other projects, so we'll tack it on to the main project here. So all in all, we're sitting here at about 85 bucks, with the gas tape. And if we add this guy, I had to change to a needle valve. So that was like $7 more, so 90 bucks? I guess we're at 90 bucks. All right. Then we get to the Amazon shopping spree. This is a box that belongs to a solenoid valve that is on a timer, which is that timer over there. That timer is only like 4 or 5 bucks. That cost me about 10 bucks, and the shipping was $5, but it was bundled with the bubble counter, which is or is not necessarily required, and I also got a CO2 backflow valve as well in the same order. So I think the order ran me like 20 bucks for everything. So now we're sitting at 115, 120 at this point. And that's basically about everything you need. The rest you would get is obviously the airline hose. And you run it up in your tank, your suction cups, however you want to do it. Eventually I'd like to put it straight into like a canister or something. And then I just use a general air stone. This could be very hard to see. But that air stone is basically making pretty darn small bubbles, and they're almost gone completely by the time they get to the top. And I'm probably losing some CO2, I'll agree with that. But I can't justify a $20 diffuser when I'm only talking about $7, a month to run my gas if I replace this every 4 months. So there's some talks on the forums I was part of that basically somebody was saying, what's a good CO2 setup? And people were saying, you need like a really good stuff. You need to get yourself a tank, a regulator, and it's good regulators, 200 bucks. Not really. You don't have to really worry about that, because if you go to like Ace Hardware, you pick that up, you plug it in, and you should get a fiber washer with your tank. Let me just clarify that. Don't use rubber, because they'll shrink and it'll crack. So you use a fiber washer, and if it doesn't work, you got leaks, you can't patch it up with gas tape, you take it back and you tell them, hey, this thing isn't working. They change it out. maybe cost you a couple hours, go back and forth to get one that works. So why would you not go to an aquarium store or aquarium website to do all this? Simple answer is the DIY method is just simply cheaper. It will save you money in the long run. It's not that hard. You learn a lot, especially you learn how to open this up properly, how to open that up, which regulates the poundage right here. I run about 12 pounds. The general rule of thumb is every 1,000 feet you want 1 bar of pressure or 14 psi, and then if it goes to 2,000, maybe add 5 or 6 more pounds, and that's a little complicated. I don't fully understand it, but what I did is I looked for the result I wanted. I know that's hard to see, and that's where I set it at. 12 pounds works with my airstone. I hope this helps. If there's any questions, put them in down in the video below. This will probably appear on a few forums over time. This isn't really all that expensive. If you think about it in the long run, if you don't drink a cup of coffee a week for a year, you can basically buy the setup. If you do even more aggressive saving or justification, you basically could justify the reason to buy all of this. And it'll last basically forever until the gauges go bad, until the solenoid might go bad, and sometimes they get hot and they burn up. There's other places you can go look at for bubble counting. There's a lot of people that have different pieces of advice. I just kind of turned it up higher and higher until I saw my plants bounce back. That's how I did it. Good lighting is also a good thing to have. And also fertilizers as well. I talk about what I do with that in a different setup, and basically use this as a pretty decent guide. There's a lot of websites out there that tell you how to do this as well, and this is a pretty good assessment of what you're going to need, and it fits pretty well under your stands. It's not huge, it's not over cumbersome. I do recommend you put it towards the outsides. It's a lot easier to work on. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.